The storyboard is one of the most important aspects of building your app on Papertrell. It's essentially a navigational structure for your content. Let's take an example of a classic book. This is how you would, strip out the parts of a book. It has a spine, a front cover, back cover, text block, and within up the pages you have table of contents, glossary, introduction, basic text, image, formatting, etc. And now if you want to map this to an app, you need to think of how you are going to structure your book inside of an app. Um, let's take a simple example of a recipe book. You have a table of contents. In the table of contents, you have your main chapters and probably sub chapters that form the recipes, and maybe each of these recipes has an image, ingredients, tips, steps, etc. So the first thing that you need to consider while building an app is choosing the right template. For a recipe book, assuming that you have lots of interesting pictures and good looking photographs, it's nice to give a very visual sort of a navigation system. And you can choose a classic slider. If you look at our app templates, we have two types of app templates. You have a classic blank, which is essentially a row of icons, and you have a classic slider, which is huge panels that take you, that opens up when you start the app. So depending on the type of content, you can choose which theme to use for your app. A simple rule of thumb is if your app is going to contain many chapters, top level chapters, say more than 10 chapters, then it's going to be very cumbersome to create a slider sort of an app because the user has to slide many times to reach the end of the to reach the last chapter. So it's always advisable to go for a classic blank if you're going to use if you have many top level chapters. You use a classic slider if your content is visual and you want to create a visual navigation system. You can go ahead and choose a slide wrap. So again, these are just simple rules, and you can be as creative as you would like to be using using the storyboard. For instance, you can remove all these buttons on the top and just leave a app bar at the bottom and make that go to a sliding menu or whatever you may choose. So we'll show you some examples of how to create interesting navigation structures with just these two basic templates. So if you look at how we've conceptualized the app, your recipe book as an app, you'll notice that we are basically taking chapters and different sections and laying them out. We're taking common pieces of information like introduction, index, glossary, gallery, etc. to put up, and we are placing it in the bottom section in the app bar. So this is the way you conceptualize. This is the way you can easily conceptualize your book as an app. So let's get started and just create a simple navigation structure. So I'm going to click add button. I've chosen a classic slider. So let's say I want to create my first chapter, say chapter 1, right? Let me just call it my first chapter, right? Now I have many options here. I could make this my chapter directly open a page, a simple page or a tabbed page. You can see all the various components that we have available. Let's say I have sub chapters and I want these sub chapters to open rather than directly opening into a page. And I could choose a menu. So let me choose a simple menu for now. A simple menu is essentially just text that takes you to a particular section in the app. I could choose a menu with images. So basically, I get a thumbnail image in front of the menu name, or I can choose a slide menu, which is a sliding menu. So let me just choose the simple menu and say done. Right. So this creates my first chapter. My first chapter essentially opens my first chapter menu, right? So I could add my second chapter. So let's just add my second chapter, and let that open. Let's say my second chapter is just a simple page, or let's say a tab page, and click done. So now you see a basic difference between my first chapter and my second chapter. My first chapter has sub chapters, so it has a menu. It opens into a menu. My second chapter opens into a page directly. So I could add other buttons like say contact, okay, and that could open a simple page. Okay, so this is how I create my app navigation. I could also add buttons to my to the app bar at the bottom. You do that by clicking on the add button at the bottom, and let's say I want about, and that to be a simple page. Okay, so there you go. You get an icon at the bottom app bar, and I could create let's say a quiz. And I can choose a quiz component. Okay, or if I want to make it fancy, I could choose a menu, and within of the menus, one of the options could be the quiz. So there are many ways in which you can construct a fairly comprehensive navigation structure using the tools that we have here. So let me show you quickly how to create a sub-level navigation. So my first chapter opens into a menu. So how do I add options into that menu? All you need to do is click on my first chapter, and it will take you into the section where you can start adding your menu items. So this is my menu. I can create sub-chapters. Sub-chapter 1, which will open a page. Done. This could be sub-chapter 2, so on and so forth. Now I could add sub-chapter 3, and instead of opening a simple page, I could actually make it go to another menu, right? So you can create fairly complex navigation structures. There's another option that you can do here, which is existing destinations. So these are pages that you've already created. So let's say one of my sub-chapters, I actually want to link it up to the contact page, which is a page that I've already created. You can always do that. So hit existing destinations and you can go to the contact page. Or let's say I want this opening the quiz. So I can make this open the quiz. So this button, subchapter 3, actually opens to a quiz. So you can create fairly comprehensive navigation structures. And the best part about Papertrell is you can create these navigation structures, and without any design, you don't need to spend time designing, skinning the app, or even entering content for the app. All you need to do is just hit preview on device. When you do that, your app is prepared, and you can log in to your device and actually see how the app actually works on the device. So these are some of the interesting things that you can do with Papertrell. Right. So let's see how the app looks like on the device. So the first thing you need to do is hit the refresh button on your iPad, and the app is available for you to preview on your device. So let's download the update, and let's see how our simple navigation structure looks like on the iPad, right? Okay, let's download it. Okay, so there are my chapters. First chapter, second chapter. First chapter takes me to a menu. Subchapter 1, go back. Chapter 2, and chapter 3 takes me to a quiz. My second chapter takes me directly to a page. Contact takes me to my contact page, about us, and the quiz. So you notice that it's very easy to create interesting navigation structures. And now you can go back. Let's say you want to change something, you can go back to your uh, to the website, and you can add another button, or you can change the positions of your app. Let's say I want contact to come right in the front, um, or you want the quiz to go on top. So you can change the buttons and hit preview on device again. And if you open up your app and hit the refresh, you will see a new update available, and you can download the new update and see how the update looks like on your device now. So this is a very interesting way, or a very quick way of creating multiple navigation structures without having to worry about designing or having to worry about the content of your app. And this lets you experiment with it. And one of the best ways of experimenting with your app is to create a basic navigation structure, enter some basic content, and share the app with your friends and get feedback before you continue and spend too much time working on it. So you'll notice that your app, when you're working on it on your storyboard, doesn't have any designs. So it's basically meant to give you a very rough overview of how your app. It's almost like a wireframe of your app, and lets you experiment with it and create a navigation structure before you spend too much time creating the app.